The entire arena fell silent in a way that only the rarest moments in sports can create. For a few breathtaking seconds, it felt as if the world had stopped turning. Then history happened. What Riku Miura and Ryuichi Kihara, known around the skating world as RikuRyu, accomplished was far bigger than simply winning an Olympic gold medal. It was the fulfillment of a dream that generations of Japanese figure skaters had chased without ever reaching. Today, we're diving deep into the extraordinary story behind that achievement, exploring not only the performance itself but also the journey, sacrifices, and global reaction that transformed this victory into one of the most unforgettable moments in modern sports history. How did they overcome the obstacles standing in their way? How did a nation once considered an outsider in pair skating suddenly rise to the very top of the world? The answer begins years before the Olympic spotlight, long before the standing ovations and gold medals. It starts with two athletes whose paths crossed at exactly the right moment, setting into motion a chain of events that would change Japanese figure skating forever. Looking back, it's easy to think historic breakthroughs appear out of nowhere, but the truth is always different. Every seemingly sudden triumph is built upon years of unseen effort, setbacks, and relentless preparation. That truth becomes impossible to ignore when you examine the story of RikuRyu. Just a few years earlier, very few people would have believed Japan could become a dominant force in pair skating. Yet these two athletes didn't just challenge expectations, they completely rewrote them. To understand how remarkable this achievement truly was, we have to go back to where the journey began. The story takes us to 2019. At the time, pair skating in Japan faced an uphill battle. Countries like Russia, China, and Canada had spent decades building powerful traditions in the discipline. Their athletes dominated international competitions with incredible technical skill, physical strength, and deep competitive depth. Japan, meanwhile, struggled to establish itself on the world stage. Within skating circles, there was a widespread belief that Japanese pairs simply couldn't compete consistently against the sport's traditional powerhouses. Opportunities were limited, resources were scarce, and very few young skaters chose to pursue pairs. Breaking through seemed almost impossible. Yet in the middle of that difficult reality stood two athletes who refused to accept the limitations others placed upon them. Ryuichi Kihara had originally built his career as a singles skater, but after years of competition, he made a bold decision that many considered risky. Rather than continue down a familiar path, he chose to reinvent himself as a pair skater. It meant stepping away from years of experience and entering an entirely different discipline filled with new challenges. The decision required enormous courage because success was far from guaranteed. On the other side was Riku Miura, a talented skater eager to embrace a new challenge and push beyond her comfort zone. Though their backgrounds were different, they shared something powerful, a quiet determination to chase a dream much larger than themselves. In pair skating, building world-class chemistry usually takes many years. Trust must be developed. Timing must become instinctive. Movements must feel effortless. Most partnerships require a long period of trial and error before becoming truly competitive. Given the state of Japanese pair skating at the time, expectations were understandably modest. But Riku and Ryuichi had no interest in following ordinary timelines. They were determined to accelerate the process. Looking back now, Kihara's decision to leave singles skating appears visionary, but at the time it involved enormous uncertainty. Walking away from a familiar career path to enter unfamiliar territory is never easy. Yet great changes often begin with difficult choices. Much like earlier generations of Japanese skaters had opened doors in singles competition, Kihara was preparing to push open a completely different door, one that very few had dared to approach before. And standing on the other side of that door was Riku Miura. Their partnership would soon become the catalyst for an extraordinary transformation. The turning point arrived during a 2019 tryout. That was the first time the two athletes truly skated together. Among the elements they attempted was a twist lift, one of the foundational skills in pair skating. In a twist lift, the male partner launches the female partner high into the air, where she rotates before returning safely to the ice. It demands precision, trust, timing, and communication. For many newly formed pairs, Developing this element can take months. But something unusual happened. Almost immediately, both skaters felt a connection they had never experienced before. Their movements seemed to align naturally. The timing felt instinctive. What they discovered that day was more than technical compatibility. It was the beginning of a partnership built on extraordinary chemistry. They often describe that first session as a moment when everything simply clicked. Their movements flowed together as though they had been skating as a team for years. From that moment forward, their future changed dramatically. Once the partnership was officially formed, progress came at a remarkable pace. The pair relocated to Canada to train within one of the world's most advanced skating environments. Surrounded by elite coaching and international competition, they began refining every aspect of their craft. Hours were spent perfecting synchronized jumps, improving spin positions, strengthening lifts, and polishing transitions. Every detail mattered. Every session pushed them closer to their goal. Their short program evolved into a display of precision and synchronization. Their free skate became a showcase of athleticism and artistry. Death spirals, throw jumps, pair spins, lifts, each element was analyzed and improved with relentless attention to detail. Particularly impressive was their ability to synchronize complex jump combinations, something many established pairs struggle to master. As they entered the Grand Prix circuit, they gained valuable experience competing against the world's best. Each competition revealed both strengths and areas for improvement. Yet with every event, confidence continued to grow. Then came the breakthrough. During the 2021-22 season, they captured a medal at the Grand Prix final, achieving something Japanese pair skating had rarely experienced at that level. The accomplishment signaled that they were no longer simply participating, they were becoming legitimate contenders. The momentum continued into the Beijing Olympics, where their performances attracted worldwide attention. By 2023, they earned a historic World Championship medal, placing Japan firmly on the pair skating map. 1 year later, they climbed even higher, securing silver at the World Championships and establishing themselves among the elite teams in the sport. Scores continued rising. National records kept falling. What once seemed impossible now appeared within reach. Watching their evolution felt almost surreal. In only a few years, they had transformed from a newly formed partnership into one of the strongest teams in the world. Yet their success wasn't merely the result of talent. It was built upon trust, sacrifice, discipline, and countless hours of work far from home. Their journey stood in contrast to the traditional development models used by major skating nations. While some countries spent decades building pair champions, RikuRyu compressed that process into a remarkably short timeframe. By the time the Milano Cortina Olympics approached, they had become symbols of possibility, not just for Japanese skating, but for anyone who had ever been told their dream was unrealistic. And yet, the greatest challenge of all still lay ahead. The Olympic stage awaited, and with it came a level of pressure unlike anything they had experienced before. By the time the Milano Cortina Olympics arrived, Riku Miura and Ryuichi Kihara were no longer viewed as promising challengers. They had become genuine medal contenders, carrying the hopes of an entire nation. But with that recognition came a new burden. Expectations can inspire greatness, yet they can also create immense pressure. As the pair competition approached, every practice session, every interview, and every moment on the ice felt magnified. Millions of fans were watching. Analysts were debating their chances. Former champions were predicting outcomes. The spotlight had never been brighter. Despite their remarkable rise, RikuRyu entered the games knowing that Olympic competition follows no script. Years of preparation can be undone by a single mistake. One imperfect landing, one mistiming cue, one lapse in concentration can change everything. That uncertainty hung over the event from the very beginning. Following the short program, the standings remained tightly contested. The gold medal was still within reach, but nothing was guaranteed. To climb to the top of the podium, they would need the performance of their lives. There would be no room for hesitation, no margin for error. Only excellence would be enough. Inside the arena, anticipation built with every passing minute. Thousands of spectators filled the seats while millions more watched from living rooms, sports bars, and mobile screens across the world. The atmosphere felt electric. Reporters later described a tension that seemed to pulse through the building. Coaches exchanged nervous glances. Competitors focused silently on their preparations. Everyone understood the significance of what was about to happen. During warm-ups, observers noticed something unusual about Riku and Ryuichi. Despite the immense stakes, their expressions reflected calm determination rather than fear. They appeared completely focused on the task ahead. Later, journalists who witnessed those moments would recall the same impression. They looked ready. Not just physically ready, but mentally prepared for the biggest challenge of their careers. Years of training had taught them an important lesson. When the moment arrives, distractions must disappear. The crowd, the cameras, the expectations, all of it must fade into the background. Only the performance matters. Yet this Olympic experience differed from everything they had faced before. In previous competitions, they often competed as underdogs. Now they carried the weight of possibility. Winning was no longer a distant dream. It was a realistic outcome. That shift changed everything. The pressure associated with being a favorite can sometimes feel heavier than the pressure of chasing an upset. Even experienced athletes struggle under such circumstances. But champions are often defined by how they respond when expectations become overwhelming. In retrospect, many believe this was the moment RikuRyu demonstrated the mental strength that separated them from the field. When the free skate began, something remarkable happened. The atmosphere inside the arena transformed instantly. As the pair took their opening position, a wave of silence swept across the crowd. The music started, and the performance that would define their legacy was underway. From the opening seconds, there was an unmistakable sense that something special was unfolding. Their side-by-side jumps displayed extraordinary synchronization. Every movement appeared connected. Every transition flowed naturally into the next. There was no visible hesitation, no signs of nerves. Instead, they skated with the confidence of athletes fully committed to the moment. As the program progressed, the quality of execution only improved. Their pair spin demonstrated near-perfect alignment. Their rotational speed remained consistent throughout. Judges and spectators alike watched with growing admiration. Midway through the performance came one of the most critical elements, the throw triple flip. Riku launched into the air with exceptional height and control before landing cleanly on the edge. The crowd responded immediately. It was the kind of moment capable of shifting momentum in an Olympic final. Then came the twist lift, the very element that had first connected them years earlier during that life-changing tryout. Watching it unfold on the Olympic stage felt almost symbolic. What began as a promising experiment in 2019 had evolved into one of the finest examples of pair skating in the world. Ryuichi generated tremendous power as he launched Riku high above the ice. She rotated gracefully before returning to the surface with confidence and precision. The audience erupted. It was a masterclass in trust and timing. The performance continued building toward its emotional climax. Their death spiral displayed speed and control. Their lifts showcased strength without sacrificing elegance. Every movement appeared intentional. Every detail reflected years of refinement. What impressed many experts most was not simply the technical quality, but the emotional connection visible throughout the program. They weren't just executing elements. They were telling a story. By the time they reached the choreographic sequence, emotions began to surface. Viewers could see the intensity in their expressions. The realization that years of work were converging into these final moments seemed to fuel every movement. The audience responded with increasing enthusiasm. Applause erupted before the music had even ended. Then came the final pose. As the last note faded, the arena exploded. Thousands of spectators rose to their feet. A thunderous standing ovation filled the venue. Plush toys and flowers landed across the ice. The reaction was immediate and overwhelming. Even before the scores appeared, many sensed they had witnessed something extraordinary. The wait for the results felt endless. Cameras focused on the athletes as they sat together awaiting confirmation of their fate. Then the numbers appeared. The score surpassed expectations. A new benchmark had been established. The comeback was complete. Olympic gold belonged to Japan. In that instant, years of sacrifice, uncertainty, and perseverance crystallized into one unforgettable moment. Riku and Ryuichi embraced, tears streaming down their faces as the reality of their accomplishments sank in. Around the world, viewers shared the same emotional response. Social media platforms exploded with reactions. Clips of their performance spread across the internet within minutes. Yet surprisingly, one of the most viral moments occurred after the skating had ended. While sitting in the kiss and cry area waiting for scores, cameras captured a simple interaction. Riku nervously gripped Ryuichi's hand. When the final score appeared, they looked at each other and broke into tears. The authenticity of that moment resonated far beyond the skating community. Millions of people connected with what they were seeing. It wasn't just victory. It was relief, gratitude, friendship, trust, and years of shared struggle compressed into a few emotional seconds. Fans around the world flooded social media with messages celebrating the pair. Many described the scene as the most touching moment of the Olympics. Others wrote that the image perfectly captured the essence of sports. Even people unfamiliar with figure skating found themselves emotionally invested. Hashtags related to RikuRyu began trending internationally. Videos featuring their reaction accumulated millions of views. Comments poured in from every corner of the globe. Some fans admitted they cried despite having no prior connection to the sport. Others praised the visible bond between the athletes. Many said the moment reminded them why they love sports in the first place. Looking back, one small gesture seemed to stand out above all others. Just after the score appeared, Ryuichi gently pulled Riku closer as they processed the result together. No words were necessary. The gesture communicated everything. Years of trust, partnership, and shared hardship were visible in that single moment. Yet the emotional scenes were not limited to the champions themselves. What happened next revealed something equally powerful about the spirit of figure skating. As competitors realized the gold medal had been decided, rival athletes approached to offer congratulations. There was no bitterness, no resentment, only respect. Fellow skaters understood better than anyone how difficult the journey had been. They recognized the dedication required to reach such heights. Watching rivals celebrate alongside the new champions became one of the defining images of the event. Fans praised the display of sportsmanship, describing it as a reminder of what competition should represent at its best. The medal ceremony that followed felt larger than a sporting event. It felt like the culmination of an era. Yet while the arena celebrated, an even bigger story was beginning to unfold outside its walls. Around the world, newspapers, television networks, sports analysts, former champions, and millions of fans were reacting to what they had just witnessed. The performance was no longer simply an Olympic victory. It was becoming a global phenomenon, and the international response would elevate RikuRyu's achievement into something even greater than anyone could have imagined.